You ready? You sure? You ready?
You already started.
What?
So it's a good thing I am ready. Hi. Really?
I'm pretending like I have stage fright. Is it working?
No, I wasn't even looking at you.
It just makes for like a really awkward start to our video. You got your Diet Pepsi. Is it all dialed in for you over there?
I need a sponsor.
I know.
Somebody make that happen.
Right? Hey guys. Hey everybody. Woo, 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 woo. It is the Boss Up Enlist live show, which means today is Wednesday, which means it's Boss Up Enlist Day, which is our all-day virtual listing party. We do it every Wednesday in the Boss Facebook group. So if you're not in the Boss Facebook group, you should definitely be joining. The link to the Boss Facebook group is down below. So basically every Wednesday I get up. Whenever I get up, I post about it, and everybody kind of like checks in, says what their goals are for the day. And it's just like a way to have a day every week where it's dedicated to listing. If you want to participate in it, it's just a way to push yourself to get like a bunch of listings done. And then every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we come and do a show so that everybody can like take a break, or you can just keep on listing while you're hanging out with us during the show. And it's just a fun way for us to check in, talk about different topics.
See, Lorna says we need to get some lighting up in here.
I know.
We have lights. There's no ceiling lights
room.
here. This room, there's no ceiling lights. So we have a couple of, you're right. We probably need some of those like big,
the ring lights.
Yeah,
we've talked about it.
I really want those for my photography area, but we got to have a good Q4, and then maybe we'll invest in that.
Yeah, I think I need to get like at least one ring light, and that would make a huge difference. So I get it. You want to be able to see our faces in better detail. I know.
Because this is what you want to see in HD.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I think so. I got you in HD right now. You're looking pretty good.
I got some sleep. As Christiane said, yes. We are finally caught up and rested, or at least I am.
That was a better response than normal. Usually I have to tell her the correct response is thank you.
I just ignored that you said it this time.
Yeah. Well, you did a So, I'm telling her she looks good, and she's like, Anyway. Laura says we still look great. So there you go.
Thanks,
but
Laura.
hey guys, I got some peeps in there here that I was actually going to add as moderators, because I don't want Lauren to feel like she's all alone all the time,
Well, Dana's a moderator too, but Dana doesn't do the morning shows usually.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we have
Dana's not a morning person.
We have a couple of moderators, and they're pretty much always around. But there's going to be times when maybe I'm going to want to do like an impromptu live or something like that, and it's just easier when I have like a couple of extra people. So we are adding Alexis, who is here, and then also Allison.
We've got exclusive elegance. Heather's here. I don't know if you noticed the other day. I did thank you on the air for my lovely Pink Panther ornament. It was really cute. Thank you.
Yeah, it was really fun getting to meet you guys, because now I like see like One Witch Lady there and Exclusive Elegance, and I'm like, I know those people. I actually know what they look like.
I know.
Now.
I can put a face to the avatar and to the name, so I love that. It's awesome.
Totally. Okay, where the heck is Big Drift Thrift? I saw somebody say her name. I know she's around, so I don't know where she went.
Oh, right there.
Where?
Right there.
Is it No Shirt Wednesday? Because today I'm actively participating.
Right okay. I'm like, why can't? Yes. Hey, it is always No Shirt Wednesday, right?
Hey, go for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatevs.
Anyway, all right. Did a little business there, because you kind of have to like be in a live show in order to add people as mods. So there we go. Now I've just handed over some pretty serious power.
Oh yes, so you can block or time out the trolls or delete comments. We really don't have too many trolls.
We don't.
Occasionally we've gotten a few that are like spammers.
They're never very very creative.
No.
It's always like bobbledygook like a whole bunch of times, or something like that, or so I think the worst was like somebody said shut up, and I was like, I personally was hurt deeply. I was horrified.
You were horrified?
I was horrified. I was horrified. Let's just say I was horrified.
Horrified.
Anyway, Casey did finally get home. He was like trapped in Vegas for like an extra few days. So speaking of Casey, we should be on his show tomorrow night. He does a live show on Thursday nights. It's either I'll post something in the Boss Facebook group. I think it starts at either at 6 or at 7. I think it might start at 7. Anyway, he does his live show on Thursday, so he was going to have us come on. I hope he's still going to have us come on, because I'm sitting here talking about it. But anyway, he's going to have us come on. I think we're going to talk about open stuff. And so I will post something in the Boss Facebook group to let you guys know that that's coming up. But that's going to be tomorrow night. And then if I can get him dialed in, he is hopefully going to be on next week's Wednesday show, the Boss Up and List show, where we are going to be talking about tackling other platforms besides just eBay. Obviously, you know, Casey, Rockstar Flipper, his main thing is eBay, but he did, like, I think it's been about a month or 2 months now. He started about 2 months now. I know he does some Amazon stuff, but he just started doing Poshmark about 2 months ago. And then I have been, you know, kind of finally working on Etsy again for about the last month. You have an Etsy store. You're just about to start working on it again.
I have an Etsy store that I legitimately have not put a new item in going on 2 years now.
Yeah.
I think I've got about 75 items that
kind of where I was,
stale, that are still sitting there, that occasionally I'll sell one every 3 months and go, oh, that's still on.
Yeah.
So I haven't sold anything in a long time, but yes, beginning next week, I will be, hopefully with Dana's help, doing some cross-posting to Etsy.
So we're going to be
my vintage stuff.
So hopefully if all goes well, we're going to have Casey on and we're going to talk in a live show, and we're going to talk about kind of what our experiences have been so far tackling new platforms, and what our hopes are, I guess, for the future and what our plans are. So that should be a good show. So I will let you guys know about that as well. So
I think I've realized, like, Katie has a TV up here in her office. So she likes to watch stuff or listen to shows on, you know, binge watch stuff while she's listing, and she has 2 monitors. I have 2 monitors. I don't have a TV on the wall. I seriously need to find a way to put a TV on the wall because I want to be able to cross post and use both monitors, but I like having the TV. Yeah. So anyway.
Oh, and there's, you know, I've seen a couple of people have asked me questions, because I did a video at one point where I don't remember why I was talking about it, but I talked about having 2 monitors and how it was a must in this work. And I've had a couple of people ask, like, me to do, I think somebody asked at the beginning of this chat before the show's actually on, if I could do a show about that and how to set it up for a laptop that's close enough. I don't really know, because I would have to be, like, at your house, like, helping you set it up. But I will say, people have asked,
that's
like,
how
why.
I use it. I have a laptop.
Yeah,
I use it as a desktop.
It just depends on the inputs and stuff like that. But I've also had a couple of people ask on the video where I talked about it, why I say you have to have 2 monitors. Now, I'm not saying you have to have 2 monitors, but I'm telling you guys, if you're doing any kind of work online like we are, even if you're only doing one platform, it's, you know, monitors are crazy cheap. You can get them used for under $100, new for under $100. I like the bigger ones, but even those barely cost over $100.
I think mine are like 17 inches and yours are 19 inches, I think.
I think mine are like 21 or something like that.
I don't even know. But anyway, I didn't spend, mine are both new and they were under $100 a piece. But you can find them on, like, Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist all the time. People get rid of them. Little TVs, same thing. It's a little TV or a little monitor. It's the same exact thing. So when people have, you know, what is it, like Black Friday sales, and you can get like a 17-inch flat screen TV for $59. That's the same thing.
Seriously, guys,
buy them. It makes life so much easier. You do want them to be about the same height and about the same size, because otherwise it's just too distracting. It's probably not good for your eyes.
I like having the same ones, but that's just because I'm like, it would be weird.
Yeah, mine are different. Mine are different, but
it doesn't matter. And so being able to, like, let's say I'm listing over here on this monitor, and I want to look something up over on here, or I need to, like, type across,
or drag and drop photos and things.
It's just so much easier. And when you're cross posting, it's even easier, because what I'll do when I'm listing, let's say, a new item, let's say I have a new, I'm doing a new listing on eBay, and it's a vintage t-shirt. I'm over here and I'm doing the listing on this monitor over here, and then I have Etsy opened over here, and I create a listing over here, and I'm able to kind of, it's a lot easier to, like, copy and paste stuff and kind of look between the two listings.
And if you're doing it at the same time, it's a lot easier to cross post listings if you're doing it at the same time, because your photos are already right there, and you don't have to, like, save them somewhere else from an older listing and then try to find them and upload them and say, I'm just using Etsy as example because it's the only other platform that I'm familiar with.
So a bit of advice, if you don't have 2 monitors, put that at the top of your list, because it will make it a lot easier to work a lot faster and more efficiently. And it doesn't cost very much to get yourself set up with 2 monitors. So if you can do it, do it. So anyway, so today's show, we're going to try not to go, we can't really go past noon, because Teresa's coming by. She's got to drop off her car because she's, like, flying to Utah for a few days and then coming back to do more stuff here in Vegas.
We got to get her to the airport.
We got to get her to the airport at, like, noon. So we're going to try to keep this show down to an hour, or I guess whenever she knocks on the door and the dogs start freaking out, then we're going to be like a hard finish. But anyway, speaking of people asking questions and making suggestions, I've multiple times now I've had people ask us to do a kind of more in-depth overview of like shipping. And I do know that for a lot of people, especially if you're just starting out with eBay, it can be really daunting to kind of understand the different shipping methods, the different packaging you can use, the different costs. And, I'm always seeing people say like, oh, I made a big mistake. I sold this thing and maybe like they underestimated the weight, or they didn't realize it was because of the size of it, the shape of it. It's going to cost a lot more to ship, and they ended up paying more to ship it than they actually got for the item. And even those of you who've been doing this for a while, there are certain methods that maybe you don't know about. And not to say that we have all of the information to do everything. I'm hoping that people have suggestions or things that we don't know about, they'll shout them out in the chat.
Right. I mean, shipping is probably the most difficult thing to get a handle on eBay, for sure. We got Raking Profits in the house.
What? What's up, Steve? He's in here saying smash that like button. So apparently you guys smash. I think, you can delicately push it. But
you don't have to smash it.
But if you are feeling like, super aggressive and maybe like super excited right now because you're so stoked to hear about shipping.
Over exuberant.
Then go ahead and smash it. But yeah, good to see you, Steve, in the chat. Awesome for you to join us. Anyway, so we're going to talk about shipping today, and again, we're not going to cover everything. I'm sure we'll miss some stuff, but we're hoping it's like a basic kind of comprehensive coverage of like the different things that you should be doing. Because here's the thing, bottom line, when you are listing, and today is all about listing, right, guys? When you are listing, you need to have at least an idea, at least a general idea of how much it's going to cost to ship that item you're listing, because whether you are charging for shipping or you do free shipping, you need to build that into the cost of your item. You have to know.
You need to know up front. You don't want to be surprised when you sell something and say, oh crap, now I'm going to take a bath in this because I didn't put the correct shipping or the correct weight in.
Right.
So the very first thing, honestly, before we even get started, is you need to have a scale. I know we have a lot of beginning sellers in our Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
The most important purchase you need to make before you begin listing.
Yeah.
Is a postage scale.
This one, I think a lot of people have this one. This is a really basic scale. She has a nicer one, which we didn't bring up because it's kind of heavy. This one though was like, I think it's like you can get one for $20, even less.
Mine was less than $20. I have two. I actually have one in my shipping garage, in my shipping station in my garage. Because sometimes I'll have something where I'm trying to figure out if I need to repackage to keep it under a certain amount, because I sell a lot of hard goods, and I don't want to have to run back into my office when I do that. Yeah. But I also keep one on my desk. The one I have on my desk I've been using for 15 years. I think I paid $15 15 years ago. I've never had to change the battery.
These ones I have to change the battery sometimes, but here's the thing, so personally, the way I do it, when I'm taking all of my pictures, it's also when I'm measuring. So I take all my pictures, I measure everything, and I have like a little shorthand that I do in my notebook. And
which is a really easy way to do things. Unfortunately, Dana takes probably 50% of my pictures, so I do things.
Everybody's gonna have a different way,
very differently.
My little trick that I use is I put a box on top of my scale. And so basically, like, let's say I am listing a t-shirt, or I'm not listing, I'm just taking a picture of a t-shirt. I went ahead and I did my measurements. Then like I go and I throw it in this box, and it makes it really easy to measure it right away, right? And so when I actually go to list, I've got my notebook. Every single one says what the weight is. So I've got like a shirt here, and it says right there 14 ounces. Here's a jacket. It says 1 to 2 pounds, because I kind of know, I just have to know when it comes to, once you go over a pound, it really only changes as you go to the next pound. So you don't have to put in 1 pound, 3 ounces, right? And so this is all kind of preparing yourself for knowing exactly what your costs are going to be. And so I'm going to show you guys really
Her method is actually a lot faster than mine is. I have to be honest. I did things her way a couple of times. And if I were doing my listing start to finish myself, that's probably the way I would do it. Because I have someone else taking photos for me a good portion of the time, or at least my clothing photos. She does take the majority of my clothing photos. Yeah. It doesn't work for me. But I love this method.
And Josh is actually from Fit Shipper, and as a seller, says that he writes the dimensions and weight on a card. So I'm sure he's probably not doing clothes. So clothing, I don't really need to worry about dimensions, because it's not really going to matter. It's not going to be oversized or anything like that. But he writes the dimensions and the weight on the card and takes a picture of the card with the item. when he's taking the photos, and then that way when he's listing, he has everything. And I think Teresa does something similar where she has like a little whiteboard type thing, and it's like there's the permanent writing, and then she does like uses like a dry erase marker to add in all the details and takes a picture, and that's really good for when you're having somebody else do listing for you. And Gigi also says, I was gonna take my pants off until I realized it's not no pants.
No judgment.
Guess who's not wearing pants right now, guys? I'm gonna say that's me right now.
I do have pants on.
She does have. She's sort of. I mean, you have leggings on. So
I have leggings on. Again, these I don't wear things like that out in public.
Yeah.
So it's the same as me having no pants on, really. If I'm gonna wear leggings, I only wear them around the house.
So I'm gonna share my screen really quick because I'm just trying to show you kind of before we get into actual shipping methods and stuff, how you can kind of be prepared from the beginning with your listings. So it makes it as easy as possible when you get to the point where you actually sell stuff and you're shipping it. And so I'm gonna do a screen share here. And so the first thing is, now I did a video maybe like a month ago. It was a Boss Up and List video, and I talked all about setting up your business policies and doing international shipping. If you look down in the description of this video, I actually put a link to that video so you can go back and watch it if you want more information about business policies, because I'm not really going to go into explaining it too much right now. I'm just going to show you really quick. I have my business policy set up. I have 4 different shipping policies.
You may have
now,
more
it makes it super,
it's
super easy for me because I don't do hard goods. I only sell clothing. So I only need 4 policies. I've got my free first class shipping, and I do free shipping on everything because, again, I do clothing. Most stuff doesn't weigh very much.
A mile a minute. Slow down.
I'm trying to fit everything into an hour.
Jeez.
Anyway.
Fast for me, and I know how you talk.
So my 4 shipping policies, I have free first class shipping. I have free padded flat rate, where I also have expedited, which they can add, and which I'll talk more about that here in a minute. And then I have free priority, and this is everything up to 4 pounds because I have my international first class goes in this one, and then free priority over 4 pounds, and that's anything that has to go priority internationally. So I only have those 4 things, right?
And I have about 7 total. So mine are very similar to those, although I don't offer expedited. I'll do it if somebody asks me, but I've never had anybody ask me, so I don't have it as part of my business policies. Mine are very similar to that, but I also have media mail, media mail under 4 pounds, media mail over 4 pounds in case I sell something international that's over 4 pounds. And I do have, I think that's about it, actually. I think mine are, I think I have 2 more than you do. And I also have one that is a calculated priority over 4 pounds because I do have some very large heavy items that I don't do free shipping on.
And so when I have my sales, then I go and I do bulk shipping because I'm going to have more than probably a package a day. And so as you can see, because of the way I do mine, so here's a t-shirt that I sold. I chose as my shipping policy, I chose first class, so it automatically has first class. I already had entered my weight when I initially did it, so it already says it's 9 ounces, and it has the cost right there. I sold a couple of jackets. Those ones I knew, because I knew they were, but I also knew that they fit in a padded flat rate envelope. I already had chosen their shipping was going to go padded flat rate envelope, so it automatically has the price for that, $6.90. I don't have to do anything. And then I had an international sale. For me, anything that's over 1 pound that won't fit in a padded flat rate, I just choose straight priority, and then that way I'll be able to switch back and forth and see what the different prices might be. So for instance, this jacket, if I had it straight priority, I believe, let's see, I'll say it's 2 to 3 pounds, which is not, it's like 2 pounds. So I know this is going to California, so it's going to cost only $7.45 to go straight priority, but I still save a little money by having it as a padded flat rate mailer. So what are you looking at?
I'm telling you to click on something like that and click on compare shipping rates.
Okay. Yeah, so this will tell you like all the different, well, we got to put in a weight here. Whoops. So let's just say it's 3 pounds. We'll calculate. So yeah, so this will actually show you like all the different ways that you could do it. So
that's your best way to, when you're still learning, especially when you're looking at priority pricing, when you're still learning which way to ship something. Once you have your weight and your dimensions in there, and you only have to put dimensions if it's over 12. If it's bigger than that on one side, you need to put in your dimensions. Otherwise, you don't need to be concerned yourself with it. But here's what you want to do is on something that's priority, like you just had that open.
Let's look at something. I'm going to not do California because there aren't huge differences because it's so close. So let's see. I think this might be the furthest away from us. So let's go and compare shipping rates. I'm going to say, I'm just making up a non-oversized dimensions here. And I'm going to say that this is actually 3 pounds. Calculate it.
Okay.
So here you can see
there's a vast difference. And what I was saying is that when you are shipping something and you're still learning what your best way or your cheapest cost is going to be to ship, and this really applies mostly when you're doing well, I guess it applies whether you're doing free shipping or calculated shipping, because you want to send it the best way possible. If your customer is expecting free priority shipping, that doesn't mean that you need to ship it the most expensive method of priority, right? So you want to save money in any way possible for yourself or for your buyer or what have you. So basically what you want to do is make sure that you click on compare shipping rates. That is probably the most underutilized tool when you are learning to ship. It takes a long time to figure out, and unfortunately USPS has so many different methods, fortunately and unfortunately I suppose, that it can be really confusing, and it's not something that you're necessarily going to get a handle on very quickly, and it's not something that you're going to memorize. So I've been doing this for almost 15 years, and I've been doing my own shipping for as long as it's been offered online as a, before that I used to stand in line at the post office because you couldn't do ship online. So, and I still have to look sometimes. So it depends on where you're shipping to and what the weight of the item is. Like Katie was just saying, we live in Las Vegas. So when we ship something to California, it's super cheap. It's one state over.
And you won't see much difference between the different prices.
2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds. You're not going to see a lot of difference. It's very inexpensive. But if we're shipping to, say, New Hampshire or New York, there's going to be a huge difference once you get over 1 pound. So that's where you want to go in and compare shipping rates. So as long as you have your dimensions and your total weight in there and you hit calculate like Katie just did, you're going to have all of your different options. Depending on the size of your product, it may or may not fit in every option that you have available there, right? So that's what you want to look at. You want to see what is the cheapest rate that you can fit your item in.
Yeah. Yes, well, Christiane will definitely be talking about cubic. And Christiane, you weren't here for our last video, but I gave you some major shout outs for the awesome stuff that you sent us. So you should go back. Make sure you watch that show on Sunday because we were talking about you. Somebody asked, okay, Rose asked about region A. So we will talk about that a little bit. And you can see right here how there's like the flat rate envelope. We're going to show all these actual boxes and bags and stuff here in a minute. You can see down here, there's regional box A, regional box B, and for where these are going and what they weigh, or not what they weigh, for where these are going, you see what the prices are.
And what the size of the box is. The size of the packaging is.
We'll show you.
That's the most difficult thing for you to figure out, or for anyone to figure out. And in regional A and regional B is not something that is easy, it's different for everybody. So it's based on the states or the regions that are closest to you and the size of the two boxes. So it's not like New England is region A and the Midwest is region B. That's not how it works. It's regional according to your zip code. So that's going to be different for everything you ship as well. It's just, it's confusing. Unfortunately, eBay does not have cubic rate, and they really should. And we, along with several other people, made that very well known that we need to have better options and more simplified shipping options.
Josh Newell says that you need to always enter dimensions if you're offering FedEx or UPS shipping.
Correct.
Let me go out of this. So, because
you need to always have the dimensions in there to complete a listing in the first place.
That's not actually true. I know you do that. I never put the dimensions in, but
I always just, I guess. I'm only putting if it's oversized.
But here's the thing is that she does it, and she does hard goods as well as soft goods. So I totally get that. And so she does actually send things FedEx pretty frequently. I never do, but again, because I only do clothing, I pretty much never use the regional boxes A or B. I don't really ever enter in dimensions because nothing I ever send is oversized. It doesn't really matter. And it's never cheaper for me to send it FedEx unless I want to do like what's the Smart Post, which I never do because it takes a million years to
even with the recent rate increases at the beginning of this year, Smart Post and Parcel Select are not any cheaper than Priority in most cases.
I just want to stop for a second, you guys. I have something really serious I want to say. I just want to say how proud I am about how much time was spent in the chat talking about pants being off. And it makes me feel good that I've inspired people to, at the very least, enter it as a part of their daily conversation, whether or not they will be wearing pants. So you're not impressed.
No. And yes, Josh, we're getting there. We haven't gotten into the differentiation yet. So, but thank you for chipping in with the actual facts about the regional and
Yeah, Josh's regional A ships at £2 rate based on distance, regional B at the £5 rate. Yeah, so, all right, so let's go ahead and we're just gonna show, first of all, what the different types of packaging that there are available to you. I'm gonna show real quick. I'm gonna show like the poly mailers that I use, as well as the stuff that's available from the post office, and just to kind of give you an idea of what we're working with. So there's a lot of different envelopes. Now, as far as the post office is concerned, they've got, these are like kind of like what, a Tyvek or whatever.
Yep, it's a Tyvek mailer.
These are not flat rate. This is just wherever you send it, it's just going to be based on the weight, and it's going to be a priority label.
It's a little bit bigger than a padded mailer, and it holds some good stuff. I mean, it's good for your soft goods. And it's going to be something you're probably going to want to use when it's a closer state to you, closer.
I don't use it a lot, but
I use it sometimes.
Sometimes, and
it's going to California.
It's really strong. And we're really lucky that we live right next to California, because obviously California is a huge population center for the US, and so we get a lot of orders from there, and it's great. I love when we get to ship something to California. It's a little heavier because I know it's like,
I'm like, oh, it's 8 pounds, it's going to California, I'll take that offer. Yes.
I'm not gonna have to struggle to like stuff it into a padded flat rate mailer, because I know I can just put it in a regular poly and it's gonna be fine. Let's stick with the priority stuff. There's also, so priority, there's flat rate envelope. Now, I don't use these very often personally. I would rather pay the extra. Okay, so the flat rate, this through eBay is $6.35, whereas a padded flat rate is $6.90. So yeah, if you're going to be using these all the time, you might decide that you would rather use these because you're going to save a lot of money. Personally, I like the padded flat rate because I feel like they're a little stronger. These, depending on if they're going to get wet potentially, I feel like they could.
If you put one of your eBay or your own personal poly mailers, if you put an item inside this and then put it in that, if you ship enough of them, the difference between $6.35 and $6.90 can be fairly significant. It does add up over time. So the biggest difference, and when I ship in this, I usually put a mailer inside it as well, just because of what you said, in case it splits or in case it gets wet. The big thing about this is that you are not allowed to alter the shape of this envelope.
Any flat rate stuff, you cannot alter the shape. Once you alter the shape, it goes by straight priority weight costs.
Correct.
So they could make you pay more.
Correct. What that means by alter the shape is you can't cut this open and reshape it or anything like that. What you can do, you are allowed to tape it. You are allowed to tape to reinforce the sticky tape right here, which is not the best.
It needs to fold shut on the fold.
It's got to be able to fold shut on the fold, and it can bulge. You can put, it's one of those, if it fits, it ships. I've shipped jeans, I've shipped overalls, I've shipped sweaters, sweatshirts,
that's crazy.
Books. You can ship whatever you want in it, and you can reinforce this here with a piece of tape, this here with a piece of tape, and this here with a piece of tape.
Personally, I don't use them. Stitch Witch says some resellers will fit a pair of jeans in the envelope. Looks really bad.
I do it sometimes. I do it sometimes.
So I pretty much live and breathe by this baby right here. So this is a padded flat rate mailer. I can get I can get pretty big items in this. Now I do want to say something real quick. So this is all free packaging from the post office. Now it's not really free, because the agreement that you are making when you use these items is that you are going to use this to ship something priority. So that's where you're paying for it. I'm going to pay $6.90 through eBay to be able to ship this wherever in the US. And so basically this is not free packaging material. Like, you don't get to use, like, people do this all the time. They're like, oh, I've seen it done with media mail. I've seen it done with first class mail. They use this as padding inside. And even if you are you're setting something priority, you still are not allowed to use this as padding,
extra padding
inside. Each item of priority mail packaging is meant to be shipped and paid for whatever that item is. So every time you use one of these, you're supposed to be paying at least your $6.90. So yeah, just letting you guys know that it's not cool to do that, because let me tell you, the more it happens, the more it costs the post office to provide this stuff, the more rates are going to go up in the future. So it's going to end up hurting us all in the long run. So I'm just going to give that as a disclaimer real quick.
Correct. And Christine, you can place tape over the sides. It may depend on your post office, because I will tell you that has been a debate that has been debated 100 million times on message boards all over the country. I do know that there are some post offices that don't know necessarily their own postal rules, and they try to reinforce rules that don't exist. The same ones that try to tell you can't ship something for 16 ounces first class, even though you've printed your mailing. Your label through Etsy or eBay. So you may have more of a strict region or post office, and sometimes it's just not worth the battle. But you can tape it as long as you're not, you can use tape to reinforce, because this glue is crappy and they know that. Yep. So you can reinforce it. So as long as it's like flat, you know, and you can tell that it hasn't been, you know, cut open and retaped. You can use tape to reinforce. And again, not everything's going to fit in this type of envelope. So to save that, you know, 55 or 45 cents, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christine, again, it depends on your postmaster.
Yeah.
Some are more strict than others. Not all of them know exactly what they're talking about. It happens all the time.
Some people who work at the post office say it's called flat rate because it has to be flat. Right. I swear, we've heard this multiple times. Some people just don't know what the actual rules are. But anyway, I use this of all the priority, free priority stuff. I use this the most. This is one, the padded flat rate envelope, they don't give it out in the post office. Sometimes you might be able to get them to give you a couple, but for the most part, you have to order this online. So all of this priority stuff that we're showing you, go to the USPS website and you
create
can order
an account.
It's free. They will ship it to you for free, and just go ahead and order whatever, and they'll send it to you. I always have a bunch of these on hand because I use them all the time.
I would suggest you do that now too. You know, it's not while we're talking, but after class is over, kids, go to the USPS site, create an account, and order supplies, because let's face it, it does take a little while to get the supplies in, and these sometimes go out of stock in Q4. So I would order these to make sure you are all stocked up to head into Q4.
Yep. The next one, and I use this sometimes, this is the padded flat rate Express. Now, Express is the only way that you can guarantee something will get somewhere at a certain time. Priority, yes, they treat it as a priority, but let's say it says that it's supposed to get there in 2 days or 3 days. It is not guaranteed. You don't get your money back if it gets there late.
Correct.
With Express, they do guarantee 1-day shipping. Now, there are some places in the U.S. where it's just not going to, a lot of times it's not going to make it there on time.
It's not going to happen. If I try to ship something from here to Alaska, it's not going to make it overnight.
It might. You never know.
I don't know.
But they will give you your money back because it's supposed to be guaranteed. So personally, any of my stuff, when I have set up my shipping policies, anything that can go first class will fit in one of these. And so I add, you know, it's free shipping. Let's say a t-shirt, it's free shipping. They can pay $6.95, and I will send it in this because it'll get there quicker. And if they want to spend, I charge them $22.95, and they can do Express. I've had that happen a couple of times that they've wanted to get it more quickly. And so I always like having an option that they can pay for.
I tend to offer it around the holidays because that's when people are last minute shopping, and delivery times are pushed out around the holidays. They don't guarantee delivery for at certain times. But in any case, I don't really do Express. I get asked maybe once a year, once every other year out of 2,500 packages I ship a year.
But if you set up your set up your shipping policies so it has that option, I mean, then you don't have to think about it anymore. And then at some point, somebody might choose to do it. So I don't know. I think it's good. Okay, so that's everything as far as envelopes go. I'm going to show really quick just the different poly mailers. I use this one probably the most. This is a smaller poly mailer that I get through eBay. My free shipping supplies coupon I get every quarter is enough to completely cover me. So I use these for like t-shirts and some smaller jackets, anything that's like under £1, or international, or going to California stuff that I can fit into this. The biggest bags that they have, these are the ones that I use. Teresa is working right now and trying to get the eBay supplies people to introduce a larger poly mailer, because if you're sending blankets or larger jackets,
and jackets, yeah.
But I can actually fit pretty big jackets into this one. And then
I also cut them. So I will cut them in like Franken bag if I need to for bedding more than anything else, bedding and jackets, because it's still cheaper than shipping them in a big box. So I do that.
Now this is more of a in between size, and I actually really like this one too. This is good if you're doing cubic shipping. So again, down in the description, there is a link to the video where I go in depth into how to use cubic priority. And there is an option where rather than doing the dimensions for a box, you can do, it's called a soft pack. And all they ask is the length and width, because the idea is that, once you have the length and width, it doesn't matter like how big, basically it's like whatever you fill it out to, as long as you keep that length and width is what they charge you for.
And you do talk about that in the video that you use to talk about cubic shipping.
So I like this one because as it is, it automatically is a 0.3 tier for cubic shipping, and so I can send a lot of stuff depending on where it's going, anywhere from $8 to $10. So this can be really good when I send shoes. So anyways, that's it for these. You want to go over boxes really quick?
Yeah, the quick questions in the chat about how do you feel about using eBay branded supplies for Etsy or Posh orders? I use them. I don't ship on, I don't sell on Posh, but I use it for Etsy. I use them for Bonanza. It is what it is. Same thing with what Laura said. I ship eBay items in Amazon boxes all the time. I try to use my eBay tape and put it over the Amazon tape, but I recycle boxes all the time.
Yeah.
Not food boxes.
Do you want to show what you got over there for boxes real quick?
Yeah, there's a ton. Okay.
And these are
and I do have a full shelf with tons and tons of boxes and a whole, I mean, I have pretty much every shipping size available. So not everybody does that. Not everybody has the space for that. And not everybody needs that. It really does depend on what you're selling. Okay, so this is a not very often used, but this is a small flat rate box for Priority. And it costs $6.85, I guess.
I used it while you were gone to send a pair of glasses that you sold. So depending on where it's going, it was perfect for sending a pair of glasses.
Why would you send those Priority? They were first class.
Well, maybe I didn't send a Priority. I sent something in there.
She cost me money.
No, I must be wrong then, because I know I sent something in one of those boxes.
They do fit glasses, but I also have other boxes.
It must have been something else. I just know anyway. I had to do it. So
it's pretty small. It's about the size of, they used to call this the DVD box, or the or VHS box is pretty much the size. So just to show you, it's pretty small and it's pretty shallow. But if you have something, I don't know, maybe a book or a deed or something somebody wants that's small and flat, you know, that might be more than a pound or two. It works well. So I use it very occasionally, maybe a couple a year. That works for that. Okay, so anyone that's been selling online for a long time knows that flat rate prices have changed. Regional boxes are relatively new just in the past few years, and flat rate sizes of boxes have changed. Everything seems to be getting smaller while the prices increase, but it is what it is. They still offer them. So this is the medium flat rate box. There are two different versions of it. There is the more square box, which I believe is a 12 by 8 by 6. It used to be 12 by 12 by 12, just so you know. And this box is $12.45. So it's the more of the rectangular box. It's really good for trying to fit maybe a really big bulky pair of pants that won't fit in a padded mailer. That might be heavy. I've shipped chaps in that, like something you can't roll and flatten out.
Well, in those, was it 70 pounds?
Yeah, up to 70.
Which I don't even know how you put 70 pounds.
It rocks, I guess, if you're shipping rocks. Up to 70 pounds. So if it fits, it ships.
Christiane is like, she's a hardcore super dork, and she has a box made up, one of each box made up so that she can, with the dimensions and weight written on the side, so she can check if it fits as she's listing. That's hardcore. That's
really smart. I have to say that would probably save me quite a bit of time if I did that in advance, because I sell so many.
That would be great if you do like a
because I do such a variety of things that I always put my weights in and I put my dimensions in, but then I that's why I have my scale in my garage, because as I'm shipping and packaging things, I sometimes have to figure out which box makes the most sense.
Yeah.
So that's smart.
Okay, next box.
Smart. Okay, this is the other medium flat rate box. This is the more of the rectangular size. So
I used to use it a lot for sending jackets.
Yeah, it's good for jackets.
Same price.
And again, $12.45 for medium flat rate. I don't know if anybody else here remembers when medium flat rate boxes used to be $6 and change, but whatever. So this is 12 by 4 by like 13 and a half, almost 14. So this fits almost everything. If you're going to go into a medium, this is going to fit almost every kind of jacket or big bulky sweater or something like that. That's what you're going to go into. So large flat rate is bigger. So large flat rate, this is the square version of it.
I pretty much never use this, but again, people with hard goods might.
I very occasionally will use it. And then the large flat rate is $17. But it's going to be very rare that you're going to find something that fits in that you can't ship cheaper in another way.
Now with flat rate, that means it costs the same no matter where you're sending it. So whether you're sending it to California or to New York or wherever, it's going to cost the exact same amount.
And then do I not have large?
Oh, and Allison prepackages hard goods right after she lists them. So what are you looking for?
The large flat rate rectangular one.
Oh, I don't think well, that is the rectangular one.
No, that's the
I don't know
one.
I don't know. Sorry, I don't think I have it. But isn't that like kind of like the game board one? Is like
yes, it's like the game box.
So
one.
It looks kind of like the medium.
That 1710 as well.
Long.
Yeah, it's really long. It's good for putting board games in, and if it's going coast to coast and it's over 2 pounds, that's going to be your best option usually, because it's not something you can ship dimensionally or cubic, because it's just long and heavy. So okay, so regional box A is pretty small. It's pretty shallow. It's a little smaller than the medium flat rate box. And regional box A, again, is something that you're going to want to ship. Maybe you have something fairly heavy that is going 2 states over. And again, when you hit it, compare shipping rates, that's where you're going to want to see if sometimes it'll fit in something like this. So regional box A is $10.29. You may have something pretty heavy that's pretty shallow.
I think Christiane was the one who was just saying that she used to use the region boxes all the time, but because of the change in pricing,
increase made a very big difference. I agree with you. The price increase that happened in January, I guess it was, made a big difference. And then the square regional box A, they have a long, skinny, rectangular one as well. I'm actually out of stock of that one. I do occasionally use that enough that I'm out of stock. I need to order that. Yes, and regional A is up to 15 pounds for the same rate. It's not like the flat rate boxes. So it's costs a little bit less, but your weight limitations are a little bit lower, or a lot lower actually, because you can go up to 70 pounds on a medium flat rate or a large flat rate, and you can go up to 15 pounds on a regional A. It's like a regional flat rate is kind of is pretty much what it is. They just call it, something a little different. And then regional box B has 2 options as well. Has the square or the rectangular kind, and has the square kind. A little bit bigger and a little bit more. So that goes up to regional box B goes up to $18 at $18.47. And again, that's another thing that your regional box B is. There's really no reason to. There's almost no reason to ever use it, because it's not any bigger or not much bigger than a large flat rate box. So your large flat rate box you're going to want to use because it's cheaper. So,
but again, the region ones, it depends on where it's going, right? Or no, is it the same price no matter what?
It's the same. Well, I'm sorry. You know what? It is. It does depend on where it's going.
But again, that's where you should be comparing rates, especially when you're learning.
And you have a different zip code in there, so I apologize.
Yeah. So then, so the regional boxes, they can be shipped anywhere in the U.S. It's just going to be basically the U.S. is divided up into regions. And so when you use those boxes, depending on where you're shipping to, it could be cheaper than doing flat rate or straight priority. So I don't know if that's a great description for us to give, because we don't really use the region boxes. But
I do occasionally.
You want to basically go and you want to compare your rates when you're doing your shipping and get an idea if maybe it will be cheaper for you to do it that way. Then the post office has a bunch of just priority shipping boxes that are just based on weight only. And you have a couple of them over there. You want to grab them real quick?
Which ones are you talking about?
The one right on top. Those are just.
Oh, yeah. So these I probably use the most for 1 to 2 pound items, I have to say. These regular square priority boxes that are based just on weight. And then this is a great box for shoes.
This is called the shoe box. I use this a lot as well.
I use it for dolls. I use it for shoes. It's because it's long and narrow. It fits a lot of good stuff in it.
And I will say, guys, this is my favorite one to use when I'm doing cubic priority. So again, I have a link down below on the video where I go in depth into using cubic priority. So I want to suggest that you guys go and check that out if you want to learn more about it. But depending on the size of certain things, like when I ship shoes, and I show in depth how I ship shoes using cubic priority in that video, I actually like to use this box sometimes. Also like a jacket, if I have a jacket that won't fit into a padded flat rate mailer, I will use this box because I can actually cut it down. If I cut it down so it's 8 inches and 8 3/4 inches in length, that I know will get me to a 0.2 tier on the cubic priority, which again, go watch the other video if you want a better understanding of that. So I can ship something with this for like around $8 if I get it down to a tier 0.2, and it's a lot cheaper to do it that way. So I use these a lot.
Yeah, I use them too. And G Gasso has a question. Jasso, I'm sorry, a question about. Let's see, it's going too far.
Can you offer that option?
Oh yeah, yes. How do you know how to offer that option? Basically, you're not going to put in calculated shipping, or you're going to put in free shipping, and you'll have your amount, your weight in there already. This is only when you're actually going to do the shipping. Right. If it's calculated shipping, the buyer is going to pay the highest price calculated shipping, and then you get to take advantage of the savings if you can ship it cheaper.
But you need to understand that, let's say you're shipping, let's say you are listing a jacket that's kind of a big jacket, it's heavy, you know pretty much the only flat rate thing you can fit it in is a large flat rate box. So you know right off the top that worst case scenario, you're going to have to send that jacket from the West Coast to the East Coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast.
And it's going to cost you
$17.10. So you know worst case scenario, it's going to cost you $17 to ship it. If you're doing free shipping, then you need to build that into your cost. If you're charging shipping, you just need to know that. And then when it ends up being sold to the next state over, that's when you get to do a little happy dance because you get to send it straight priority and save the most money possible. So I hope we're not like super confusing you guys.
I think we probably are. This is a lot of information and it is really overwhelming. And this is why so many people have difficulty with shipping. I know that this little, 40-minute explanation is not going to answer all of your questions, but maybe you'll get a couple of little nuggets out of this that you weren't using previously that can help you save some money in the future, because that's where your money is made. Your money is made obviously in your buy, but it's also made in shipping and knowing your shipping policies so that you're able to provide the best service to your customer, but also you don't need to pay the highest price for shipping. You need to know your options so that you can make the most of the money that you've made. You shouldn't be just saying, oh, I'm going to throw everything into a flat rate box because it's the easiest way to do it. You could be losing tons of money. And
please go watch my cubic priority video. Again, it's linked down below, because seriously, it will show you how you can save a ton of money, particularly with shoes. Is it Shemsa08 says, Katie, how do you send shoes in the poly mailer? Do you wrap them in bubble wrap first? I don't do bubble wrap. I actually, again, if you go watch that video, I show how to do a pair of shoes. So if I have a pair of shoes that don't have a box, I actually put them together, and if they don't fit in a padded flat rate mailer, I do a cubic. And I actually saran wrap them so they're nice and tight. They're as small as they can possibly be, and they're not moving around. And then I put them in a poly, and I use cubic priority because I guarantee you it's going to be cheaper if it's over a pound and it's not just going to the next state over.
Allison wants us to use a whiteboard and a flow chart for the visual.
I know. I'm sorry, guys.
It's a bit much for
it is. And then real quick, Christiane, that would be a great tip about the shoebox, but again, you can't use priority packaging inside another priority, like you were talking about cutting down the shoebox to put inside a padded flat rate mailer. I'm sure that works great, but it technically is against USPS policy to use that as packaging inside of another package. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
And Lorna, that's what I do. I throw it in a flat rate. Lorna, you need to learn how to save yourself money, girl. I know it's easier to do that. I know it's easier to have 3 things that you shove everything into and just send it on its way. It's faster. And I know time is money, but money is money too.
All right. So real quick, we're starting to run out of time here. I'm going to go through real quick. So I'm shipping clothes. T-shirts are pretty much always going to be under a pound. If you have something that's under a pound, send it first class. You can charge extra for sending it faster, but first class is going to be the cheapest. I used to use these small poly mailers. This is great for T-shirts, anything that's under a pound, first class. Don't do priority, right? Then if it's over a pound and it will fit in a padded flat rate mailer, which I think you took away. If it's over a pound and it'll fit in a padded flat rate mailer, this is pretty much whether it's going to the next state or it's going across the country. This is going to be the cheapest way you can send it, other than the regular flat rate envelope, which is about what, 60 cents cheaper. I still think this is the best way to do it. I can fit a lot in this.
I will tell you, those of you that are selling majority clothing and shoes, these 2 things are going to be the type of things that you're going to use 90% of the time. 90% of your items are going to fit in one of these 2 items.
Yeah.
One of these 2 things.
So let me show you real quick, because people have asked how I do it. Here I have a jacket that I sold, shipping out today. It's about 2 pounds, so I cannot send this first class. I got to send it priority. So I
sold that. Somebody that said they wanted to say they went to Stanford.
Yep. And so basically what I do is I fold this puppy in half, or kind of fold it, and then I fold it this way.
Nobody can see that in your lap.
I know. I'm trying to show it. So it's kind of folded, and then I do a roll. I roll as tight as I can, guys. Bam. I got a roll right here. See? And this will make it so I can fit it into this. I get it in there. Fit it right into there. See, it slides right in. And then you got to make sure it folds on the flap. I know you can't see this, guys. I'm sorry.
You shove down the end.
I shove down the end because I got to be able to make it fit and make it close correctly. And bam, I've now fit that into a padded flat rate mailer. And this is going to go, and it cost me $6.90 to ship this. So
I will tell you that some people, I've seen it mentioned, not in this chat, but I've seen it mentioned elsewhere on boards and things like that. Some people say, oh, I sold a $150 item. I don't want to shove it into a padded flat rate mailer. Well, here's the thing. In the 2,500 to 3,000 items I ship every single year, I've sold many high-end items and shoved it into whatever the heck it fits in. When you're offering free shipping,
I've never had a complaint.
If it's clothing and you're not damaging the item,
I don't crumple it. Again, don't know how I can see it, but I fold it in half, and then I roll it. So I'm not crumpling it into a ball and shoving it in. I'm just getting it as compact as possible so I can fit it in and close it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something, and people that say, oh, they've got to send everything. And I get it. I know with Posh and Etsy, you want to send it in the pretty paper with the sticker and the bow and the thank you card. You know what? I don't have time for that shit. Sorry.
Language.
I do not have time for it. You purchased an item from me. I get the item that you asked for safely and effectively to you. I am not doing all the extra crap that I'm spending time and money on. And yeah, I know that some people are going to say that a nice package is nicer to receive. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it when it's done, when it's something I purchase, but I am not going to be wasting my time with that. I am all about listing, shipping, and making the most money. And spending extra money to make the package look pretty is not going to get you a repeat sale.
Yes.
Sorry. It's not going to happen.
Christiane makes a good point. Another tip: if you're having trouble stuffing something in, if it's a really tight fit in that padded flat rate mailer, you can actually, if you cut a little hole in the bottom of it so that some air gets out, because what happens is if it's too tight, it'll trap the air in there and it's really hard. So you cut a little hole and it'll help you get it closed, and then just make sure you put a piece of tape over that so it doesn't actually.
Christine's correct. I do that as well. Putting items in a poly mailer first, not a priority poly mailer.
Yes.
But a regular poly mailer, eBay one or your own unbranded one. Putting it in a poly mailer first helps slip larger items into a priority bubble mailer. I agree, because you can actually get the air out of it and you can squish it and turn it any way you need to get in there. So
no, you don't need to put it in a poly bag first if you don't want to. If it's easier to package it that way, then fine. I know some people like to put like the clothing in a clear bag and then they put it in there, and they put a lot of effort into like making it, I guess, more perfect. I don't know what all it is, but I feel like some people add too many layers and too many steps that they don't.
You don't have to do it. It's sometimes, but like Christine said, sometimes it's easier.
Yes.
Depending on what the item is. Sometimes you've got something that just the bubbles, it's hard to stuff it in there, and yeah, the poly mailer makes it smooth on all sides. And if it's a tight fit, it can help you get it in there.
So for clothes,
and yeah, I know that other people are going to advise you to make everything pretty. You can take and do what you want with your own business. Don't get me wrong. I'm just telling you, I'm not sugarcoating it. I don't wash every single item that comes into my house. I don't have to make it a pretty package to send it out. I just send them what they purchased from me, and it's clean, and it's, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people spend a little bit too much time focusing on the details and the minutia, and you could take that time and list more and make more money.
And I do, when I send stuff internationally, sometimes I will double poly bag them just because I feel like I do want the extra protection for, I guess, because it's going farther, whatever. So yeah, so for clothing, almost 100% of my stuff goes in either poly bags or a padded flat rate. Very rarely do I actually use boxes. And again, watch the cubic priority video that's linked down below to see more about that. When we talk about hard goods, can you talk a little bit more about like what you have to use, particularly around like FedEx?
Yeah, so for hard goods, what a lot of people don't seem to know is that FedEx, on anything going like cross country, anything over 2 pounds is pretty much the breaking point. If it's a hard goods item, it's not fitting into a poly mailer, not fitting into a flat rate box. Anything over 2 pounds going from one end to the other is generally going to be cheaper going FedEx. FedEx home delivery, if it's a home address, FedEx ground, if it's a business address, generally it's going to be FedEx home delivery. FedEx is an option that is available right in your drop down through eBay shipping. You're just going to have to compare shipping rates, and you have to drop down and choose FedEx instead of USPS. So I use FedEx quite a bit. Your FedEx home delivery in most parts of the country is going to be 2 to 3 days. Which is the same as priority. When it's far away, it's 2 to 3 days. So you're still delivering. If you're doing free, for me, I do free shipping on a lot of items. So it'll say free priority, and I'm still getting the item to my customer in the time frame that's expected. Just because it says free priority does not mean you have to use free priority, as long as you're getting your item to your customer in the same time frame, especially if you're using guaranteed.
I would say be a little careful with that. I mean, I think for her, she's not as worried about it because it's such a huge savings. But I would say technically, whatever you say, if you say you're sending it priority, you're supposed to send it priority. That is the rule.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that because here's the thing. There are some cases where FedEx ground will be 4 to 5 business days where priority is 2 to 3. I don't do it then. If it's something that's going to be getting to the house or getting to the customer in the same time frame, and it's going to save me as much as 50% off of the rate, and I'm offering free priority, I am absolutely going to do it.
No, and I understand that. I'm just saying that
because it does not matter as long as what matters is that you're shipping it in the expected time frame and it's being delivered in the expected time frame. I don't care if I got it there by carrier pigeon.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. As long as you're getting it in the right time frame, that's how I handle it. Or you can offer FedEx. I mean, I offer FedEx as an option on heavier items personally. So it all depends on how you set up your business policies. But anyway, if you're sending heavy items, you need to look into your FedEx pricing.
Yes, it's going to make a huge difference.
Your FedEx pricing is a discounted pricing that you get, just like your discounted pricing for USPS through eBay. If you are a high volume shipper, I highly recommend you get your own FedEx account. My personal FedEx business account is a cheaper rate than through eBay. So I will often ship something FedEx not using eBay shipping. I'll go direct on FedEx. So it depends on negotiate your rates. I'm hoping if you're doing that kind of volume, you already know that much about your business that you've already done that. But if you're sending heavy items and you're doing a lot of hard goods that are going all over the place, definitely look into FedEx. Not FedEx Smart Post. That's a horrible service.
That's super slow.
It's super slow. It's like sending your items media mail.
Don't ever do it.
There's no reason to do it, honestly. It used to be, a year ago, it was actually a really good option because it was giving you a big savings and it got delivered in a decent time frame most of the time, but that's not the case
now.
Anymore.
It can take like 2 weeks and you're just gonna have a really unhappy buyers.
Yeah. Yes, and you can put free expedited shipping without specifying the carrier, Josh.
That's true.
You're correct. Mine does usually specify, but it doesn't have to. It depends on who you are and how you set up your business policies. Again, Katie did do a whole thing on setting up your business policies.
And the link is down below. So seriously, if you want to learn more about the stuff that we're talking about, go watch the thing about setting up your business policies. Go watch the one that's about cubic priority shipping, because those are both things that are going to save you time and money.
Right. And Situish says, competition is so fierce, I feel that the extra details get my store repeat business. And that may work for you. Again, when you're selling one-offs the way that I do, or the way that many of us do, I will tell you, if you are able to view these metrics, you can't, eBay doesn't have that type of traffic metric any longer, but you're probably not getting a lot of repeat business. Someone is not coming into your store specifically to search for something. They just happen to be finding that something in your store. So I personally don't get a lot of repeat business. I have 28,000 transactions, and I maybe have a couple of repeat customers, less than 25 in a dozen years. It's not because I'm not offering good service. It's because I'm not selling multiples, and I don't have a niche market. So very rarely am I going to get repeat business unless somebody's buying multiple items at once.
Now, if you have a niche, let's say all you sell is vinyl records, and you have good prices, and you have people who collect vinyl, they're probably going to come back to your store if you do go that extra mile and you make a big point to package it really well.
Right. If you sell something specific and you're going to have multiple customers, yeah, absolutely. Go do something a little bit extra and a little bit nice. For me, that doesn't work. And it's not worth my time. It might work. Your mileage may differ. A lot of people do that with Posh. I think that's and I don't sell on Posh, but I'm hearing that's kind of an expected thing. You take your photos differently. You've got, these little fuzzy white rugs they've taken pictures on. I don't know. It's just not my thing. I'm old school that way. I'm more about doing it simple, doing it fast, and getting the product to the customer.
And that's the thing. I think, honestly, the fastest way, or not the fastest way, the best way to satisfy a buyer is to basically send them the thing that they think they're supposed to get. So that means you need to have a quality listing with good pictures, with a good description, pointing out any flaws. If there are any, you want them to get exactly what they are expecting. And then to get it to them super, super fast. Teresa just walked to the house, so now the dogs are going to be like losing their minds.
The dogs are insane.
Okay.
Anyway, so this is a ton of information. I know that we could probably do 7 hours on shipping, and it's not going to be enough. I do hope that you've gotten at least a couple of nuggets out of this that can help you with your business going forward. We're happy to answer questions in the boss group, more specific questions based on your specific needs. There are a couple of other videos. The links are down below. You should definitely watch the videos on setting up business policies and watch the videos on cubic shipping. And here's Teresa.
Could you? I'm gonna shut this down real quick. If you could go deal with the dogs yelling.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, you're gonna go deal with the dogs. They're gonna like try to chew your face off.
Bye.
Bye. Anyways, thank you so much. Let us know. I mean, I know we had to kind of do a crash course, but please. Oh, one thing, I'm gonna do a show with Teresa hopefully soon, and we're gonna get into detail about doing international shipping and saving money using your Size Me Up tool. If you guys have any specific questions, like stuff that we didn't get into deeply enough, please let us know, and we'll try and help you guys with that. But thank you so much. I gotta take this one to the airport. We got stuff to do, so please join the Boss Facebook group if you're not in it already. Subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Hit the notifications bell to make sure that you know when new stuff comes up. And thank you so much, Christiane. Tap that like button gently, or as Ray Prophet says, smash that like button. And we'll talk to you guys later. So boss up.
Peace out.